start over. So I'm introducing Eric Rockefeller. He is going to be speaking today, and he's going to try to join us as much as he can over the next couple months, and he's really excited. He wants to just kind of share some knowledge with you. So he's going to do a little bit of just a quick presentation and run through some basic stuff with ads and campaigns and all that kind of good stuff. And he's going to discuss some targeting and just kind of show you what he does and talk a little bit about himself and his business. And then we're going to hopefully have some time towards the end, maybe 15-20 minutes for open Q&A. So without any further ado, Eric, can you hear me okay? Are you ready to go?
I can hear you.
All right, I'll let you take it away.
Am I the presenter now?
Yeah, I will switch that over to you, and you should be right now.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I got your screen.
Hello, everyone. Can you see my screen? Can I see their chat or not?
I have the chat. I'll keep an eye on that, but I can see it. Can you guys see it? Yep.
Everyone can hear me fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. All right. Like he said, I'm definitely excited to be here. So thank you for having me. I'll just do a quick background in case you probably haven't heard of me. I used to actually teach and do info products back about 6 years ago for my early, probably from 29 to about 34 when I had my son. I did my last launch on ClickBank, and after that I kind of went underground. But as he said, I've been doing all kinds of different stuff. I've been doing internet marketing now 10 years. After losing my brother, I decided to. I had just kind of found it online a little bit before losing my brother to a motorcycle accident when he was 27, and I was 29. I was living in San Diego, and I had a pretty good job, and I had a long-term girlfriend, but after that happened, it kind of like shook me, and I wanted to be by the family, so I moved back home to Florida. And like I said, I had just kind of found like affiliate marketing and internet marketing stuff, and I was always wanting to have my own business. So I thought, if you want something, you better, do it, because any day something could happen like that. And it just kind of really woke me up. And so I called home and I said, Mom, I want to, move home and be by the family for a while, and I want to start this business. So that's what I went home and I did that and kind of got into that whole internet marketing world. And he was mentioning that conference, and I want to say a thing about, seminars and conferences are like the best place to do a couple things: get you motivated, inspired, and really grow your business. I mean, I think over everything I've done, the networking and the friends that you meet, and the things you learn when you go to these seminars, and not to mention it's a write-off vacation basically, especially when you're going to San Diego. But I just want to say that, yeah, definitely that's one of the biggest things you can do when you're, for your business, is go to these seminars, meet other people doing the same kinds of things, make friends, make JVs. I mean, that's how I just actually met Greg at the last seminar, Frank Kern Inner Circle seminar, just like a month ago. And now we're doing things together. So anyways, enough about that. I'll probably want to see a little bit of proof of something. So I had given this to him to look to use, but I don't know if he used it. But this is just an e-com store using Shopify that I just recently grew pretty much from zero on February 15th till I took the shot, I think yesterday, April 18th or so. What day is it today? Anyways, so just a few months, and was able to scale it up very quickly. Found basically the way I work is I'll test. I never get I just basically do some research, and if it's, I'll find products that I'll just test very small, and once I find a winning product on Facebook, I just basically will, warm up the pixel, get more conversions, mess with the targeting, test some different angles, like, buy one, get two free, or buy one, get one half off, stuff like that. Try to like increase the average order value. But really with Facebook advertising, you can't really get too stuck on the actual product that's going to work. Like you have to just completely let go of what you think will work and just test and see, very small budgets you can test. And when you find one, like a winning offer, I call them engagement offers, an offer that gets a lot of, likes and shares, and the more it gets those likes and shares, the relevance score is higher, the cheaper your cost will be, and you can profit on these offers. But then you also want to put stuff, upsells and cross sells. You want to put other items. Once you kind of know that audience, you want to put similar items that they would buy as well, so they end up buying a lot more from your store. Just exactly how, that's what I love about T-Rex. It's like it's basically all there on that same page. Whether it's the same design or not, I mean, that helps too. But you have the ability to do, you have all those products right there that they can buy, and then you can also upsell them, maybe just a different design or something like that. You can do a lot of testing. But with this particular store, I found one item that was doing really well, and basically, duplicated the campaign a bunch of times. And once you have a certain amount of sales, you can use the pixel to create lookalike audiences, and we'll go through that a little bit. But that's how you can scale. You get those bigger audiences and just start duplicating a bunch of your ad sets so that you have a ton, and weed out the bad ones and keep the good ones. And then a lot of this too, we had some similar products that they would buy, so our average order value was across the board on this was about $32, which is pretty good. And you can see this is actually, these conversion numbers are pretty, like, you won't see this much. Like, this is like, these are the highest, like, across this whole period. I mean, there was a lot of days where it was like 8%, and like just a little above, this would be like 9%, and this would be 8%. And I mean, it's good to have 3% right here, and 4 or 5, and like 9% here usually. These are like the most crazy high conversion, converting numbers I've seen. And that's why I was like, some of these days are like 9K days, 7K days on just like basically one product I was using to promote, and still, it's still selling. And so, I mean, that's the other thing. You find some of these offers, and they could last for months. They can last for a pretty long time if you find these good offers that you can use to bring in the traffic, and and then you'll find the other things that are selling and test those as well. So what I wanted to do today is talk how I set up my Facebook, and run, how I would set up ads and the targeting, and basically the process I'd go through from start to finish, or as in depth as I can go in the 20 or 30 minutes more that I have. But I basically concentrate. I mean, I love, we're definitely living in a world of influence with these influencers you can pay for on Instagram and whatnot with your own products. But for me, and you got free traffic sources, stuff like that. But I mostly concentrate on Facebook because I I just like the scalability, the speed of scalability. Like I can find a product that I can take from, I test it over a few days, it's making sales, and then once I know it's breaking even or profitable, I can, take that to a lot of these products to a couple hundred a day, a couple thousand a day, even 5,000 a day. So I mean that's just insane when you're able to scale that fast. And yeah, the bigger you scale, obviously you're not going to make as much. Like in the beginning, those $1,000, $2,000 days, you could be doing a good solid 40, 50%, possibly 40, probably more likely. But the bigger you scale, you're only making 20, 30%, but you're still making a lot more money because if you spend $4,000 and you make 9, and then after your cost of goods, it's $2,500 profit day. That's still better than the $1,000 day off spending just 1,000 or whatever it might be. So we just set this up for an example. This is a best grandma ever, and really it was supposed to be my designer. I guess I've taught him how to go and look on Pinterest for designs, and if you're making your own designs, I can go through that real quick. You basically would go to Pinterest and this is my partner. Let's see if he is let's see. So I would just put in, whatever niche I decide to go after, grandma funny quotes or something. So this is what I taught my designer to do. Just go to this and then look for, either other teas or quotes or sayings that have a lot of pins. And basically, so he had found this one. I might do funny teas. See, now you don't want to you can use the same sayings. These are people that are doing this, but you just don't want to like straight up copy their design. Just change the design and use the quote. So let me see here. All right. So this one has 7/28 pins. That's pretty good. This one has 1.2, 48K. If I was a bird, I know who I'd poop on. But let's just say this one, blessed by God, spoiled by my grandma. This is for a little onesie you could do. So once you find some, he had found this, he had done this one where it was to be personalized, but it was supposed to be best, period, grandma, period, ever, period. But we realized with personalizing it wouldn't work. So you'd have to either do them, like that and change it a bunch of different ways. And when we were talking, when Michael and I was talking earlier, we were coming up with different, like I had French grandparents and that lived in Canada, and then I had French grandparents that lived actually in Rhode Island and then here in Florida. And the ones that were in America, we were the ones that were nicknamed these French nicknames, which are Pepe and Meme. And I was looking up how to spell that. It has like the accents on the E's though. But anyways, so he tells me Gigi is a big one, I guess. I'd never heard of that name, but I know like Nana. So let's just say I'm gonna go after. I'm gonna do this shirt. Now we'll go in here and use Greg's new T-REXecom live account. So basically, you go to your ads manager, and I always use Power Editor. And so I'd create campaign. And we'll just do best GMA and always do conversions. Now you can get an ad pixel that you'll track everything and just add that to the to your site backend. Now I usually just call these one day click, but that's just me because I use one day click. I'll show you that in a second, but in these I'll just do like add one. I'm a little messy with my naming conventions, but it works for me. So I have this campaign now. Now I'm going to go into the ad set. How do I, okay, that's what I want. Click right here. Now you always want to make sure that the purchase, that's for the pixel. And for each ad budget, I'll usually, I mean, you can run these, if you're newer to Facebook, you want to run them probably at just $5 a piece, $5 a day. And once you're doing more, you can do, like I usually do like $70 or $90 budgets to start, just because I like to collect data fast. And you know, the more it takes a few days for anything to run and get, you know, probably like 3 to 5 days at least to really get a feel for, you know, is it going to work? Plus, if it is working, if you're getting sales, the pixel starts getting warmed up and starts kind of Facebook's pixel is really good now at finding the buyers. Like once it starts getting conversions, it really knows how to go and find other people similar to those buyer conversions. And the targeting is you know, a lot. It's not as important as it used to be because of that. Because your pixel is so smart now, you know, you can almost target a lot more broadly than you used to have to. You know, it used to be a lot easier to, or not easier, but you had to niche down. You had to really go niche in the beginning, and you still probably, it's a good practice to do that still. But what I'm saying is that the pixel definitely is smarter and finds those buyers a lot easier than it used to, faster too. So for this one, we can come at it. This is where, you know, the targeting comes up. We want to try to find. I mean, who we have to figure out. Okay, who would buy this? We have a couple different things. You have a grandma that would just buy it for herself. There's probably, you know, there's those grandmas that'll buy it for themselves. Maybe the grandpa would buy it for the grandma as a gift. Probably more likely would be, let's say for Mother's Day coming up, it could be a newer mother with some younger kids that would buy it for her mom, which is the grandma. Or the grandchildren are a little older and they would buy it for their grandma. You know, maybe teens, or they would get their mom to buy it, you know, mom or dad to buy it. So you have those couple of different, you know, think about who would be buying this. A lot of people, most likely it'd probably be the people buying it for their grandma, or I mean, the mom, you know, the sons and daughters that have kids would probably, you know, be buying it for their mother. So thinking about that, we'd have to figure out how can we best target these people, and you know, each ad set would be basically, I you know, usually start with at least 3 ad sets. So what I'll do is just duplicate it now. And I don't worry about the naming, but what you can do is, you know, basically name each one by what targeting you're going to do. So it could be like, this one could be the daughter, which would be the mom, the daughter of the grandma, the mother, and she has kids. Daughter with kids. I don't worry too much about like naming the ad sets, because basically I just look at what's working, what's not when I'm weeding out stuff, and I'll just click in, I'll just click in there to go and look at what the targeting was. But that's just me. I'm just a speed freak. I like, keep it simple, move ahead, take action. That's like the biggest thing. So let's do this one first. Basically, we got to figure out, okay, how do we target these daughters with the grandma? Well, let's say and target women, U.S. So I would probably I would start with just 25 to about, could be upwards of, could be around at least 55, I guess, right? So that breaks down to 72 million people, still way too much. Now in here you click on browse and you can do these to start with without targeting. So I might want to, and I could target millennials, but I won't target that way. For now, I just want parents, and I could do all moms or all parents. Now right here, you can definitely see that these parents would have adult children, but any of these would work, because if they're, if their mom's alive and they have these kids, then you have a grandma, correct? I think that's the right logic. So with that, it's still a huge audience. And when you're first testing, you want to get your audience around, just like max around 200,000 to 800,000, and then you can go, like, once you can create lookalike audiences, you can go like, that's like kind of like 2 million people. You can go a lot broader. But so right here I have parents, mothers, and this could be men and women, if you're going after the people that are going to buy it for the grandma. But what you do here is you narrow audience. Now, there's a lot of different things. There's behaviors. So one way I could do this is by purchase types, and find one that's like apparel. Now later I'll show you how you can do baby products if you're trying to find the people with kids. But I need to narrow the audience somehow. So I could do buyers, or people that buy gifts. Let me see, I think it's under here. Here you go. outdoor shoppers. I could just do stuff like this just to make the audience smaller. Let's see. So now that got it down to 2,300,000 people, and maybe I do gift shoppers. That makes it bigger. All right, I made it smaller. So now they have a purchase behavior of gifts, buying gifts, and maybe if I just, the one thing I could do if I didn't want to go too crazy with narrowing it down even further, is I can just do an ad set that is, I probably would test it like that. I won't even do anything like that. I would just basically test each one of these as an ad set. So I might put, let me see. All right, so you have, that's still a little bit big. You could probably just do like an age range test of 25 to 35. That's still big, but I think even that would be enough to. I would test it, but you want to stay. Usually, you want to be a little bit closer to 500, around 500,000. So you can do purchase behavior, clothing, women's. Something like that, or just trying to find the one where it's just purchase online. You can do like something like this. Oops, don't want that. Don't do no AOL. Behaviors. You can do, well, that kills it. So now once you have something like that you put in, you're going to see all these other great interests, give you ideas on what to test. And then another thing you can do if you're trying to figure out the targeting is what kind of, for these people that have kids that have what kind of stuff would they be buying, but you don't really have to, or blogs that they're reading, websites that they're buying from, brands. If you're trying to find people that have babies or something like that, but we're trying to find, we're targeting people that are trying to figure out that they're going to buy something for the grandma. So let's leave this one and we'll do a different ad set. Now I'll set up a different ad set and leave everything else the same. This one I'll be targeting for just grandmas that will buy it for themselves. So I'd want to just figure out, okay, age range is probably, I don't know, young grandmas, 45-ish, I guess. Leave that. Women. Now this one could be split up by men and women for the grandfather buying it for the grandma as a gift. And you could target, if we were doing that, we could do something like this and do Mother's Day as the interest. And see what that gives me now. That gives, this is like a lot of great targets. You could do something like this, that kills it, but you'd want to just put them all together. Put all. See, that's getting there. These are perfect because these are probably fan pages that were they'll show on fan pages that people who have already marketed stuff like this. So you would keep adding these and build it up. You can get, you know, from about 200 to 500,000 is good for a starting ad set. So that's that way to target grandmas. And oop, what's the time here? All right. Now, we could also try to target the grandchildren, but the thing about that is we definitely want to try to, I mean, it depends. If you want to even target the kids, you can target the kids, and then basically you'd have to do the ad to really get them to tag, like, hey, tag your mother to buy this for your grandma type of thing. You just be, you know, clever with the angles, and you could target younger, you know, teenagers. But let's just say we're not going to target teenagers, and we'll go after like 21 to, I don't know, 25-year-old grandchildren. So we might want to go back. I would probably do the same thing. I would probably just do like Mother's Day, and I would target a bunch of these. Or you could do, again, trying to figure out yeah, more likely I would stay with the kids. It's a little more difficult, but they're.
Hey, Eric, I got a question while you're finding some of those.
All right.
Have you had success with actually targeting that? I don't know how much grandma stuff you've gotten into or things like that, but have you, or with anything, have you found success targeting Facebook users that young?
Yeah, I mean, it just really depends on, I mean, there are definitely like the 18 to 24. Tell you the truth, I've never ever gotten into the grandma niche. I know I should, because there's a lot, I hear there's a lot of stuff being bought, but I basically, like I said, I don't, I mean, I was doing a lot of tees on demand 2 years ago, and I still do a lot of print on demand stuff, but I just don't really start with the tees. I more or less start with like something that I, you know, can drop ship, like some jewelry or whatever. I might start with smaller items that, you know, but as far as like, for an example, as far as like targeting teens, have you seen those LED cat headphones?
Yeah, yeah.
They light up the ears. So you know, I was working those a little bit, and on those I knew that like the kids that saw them would want. So I would target the younger. I was targeting like some of the ad sets. I would target, let's say, 13 to 18. Well, 13 to 18, and then I was basically saying, you know, tag your mom if you love these kind of thing in the ad. And you know, a lot of teens have Facebook, and you don't get in trouble for that. And they would, you know, tag the parents, and then I'd give the parents a coupon code in the comments. You know, when they would, in the replies, would reply to them with like a 10% off coupon code, and that really helps. But yeah, that's as far as that little trick. I've had that work for those specifically.
Right. Yeah, because like, you know, normally what we hear a lot, what you hear a lot is like, you know,
and I know Facebook has changed, and obviously with the stronger pixel and stuff, it's like you said, it's finding targeting is a little bit easier. But it was always kind of standard for a while that the buyers on Facebook were women 34 and up, and so it was almost like you didn't even attempt, depending on your products, like especially with like the big T-shirt boom and all that kind of stuff with Teespring and all that, that it was you didn't even target anybody less than like maybe 34 and up. So you're kind of saying you can do things like that with the right product in the way you set up your ad.
Everything is product specific. I mean, everything. I would never. You can't ever buy into like all that guru talk of like, a lot of the time if they're talking about specific to them, they don't. Not everyone can test everything. So I mean, I think and if I mean, I definitely agree. You have better buyers with the older age and more money, but here's another example. Like, we had a pair of leggings selling really good, right? And guess like who I was mostly targeting after I got all the data. I was targeting, and I was able to, like, the 18 to 24 and the 25 to 34 ranges were buying the most, or like buying the most and the best conversions. And guess who I was targeting? Men.
Really?
Because what would happen anyways, even when I was targeting both or women alone, is, and the specific ones, well, both ways. If the women thought they were cute, and they would tag their boyfriend or husband to buy them for them, and I'd see like tons of guys' names. So either they were buying it, a lot of them were buying it for them, or they use the same credit card and it was the man's. But the other thing is that the men, for this niche, would like to see these same leggings on their woman, on their girlfriend. So they would tag them and say, what do you think of these? And then the girls would be like, heart eyes and, oh, I love them and blah, blah, blah. And you'd see it play out like over and over in the comments of what was happening. So, and obviously I didn't think about that at first, but I read the data and I saw what was happening on the ads. And then as I targeted men, I was getting better conversions, which is funny, but that's why it's important to just test and look at the data. And we'll get deeper into, can't do everything, on each one, but we'll spend some other time really showing how you dig into the data, on another one. Also, like how I would set up different angles using the ads, as far as, I'm talking a little bit about how I would try to go about finding these people. And then you also want to make everything with the ad that you're going to use per ad set. You want to make them congruent as possible. And if you can really tie in the ad with who you're targeting, of course that's going to help. So you want to, there's different ways to do that as well, the angles.
Okay, yeah, because I know that some of the questions that I've gotten recently, I'm sure we'll probably get some here too, is just doing that, and what type of ads are you, would you say that you use a lot of like conversion ads from a page post, and that way you can see, or do you still do a lot of like just normal standard website conversion ads, like dark post ads without being posted to a page?
I basically, yeah, I mean, I should have already gotten there. I was kind of getting a little bit on a tangent there. I'm glad you came on and pulled me out of it. But so I always start with, like, I'll test like the ad sets. I'll also test like at least 2 ads against each other. But I always at least start with, so I'll check one, and then well, this one doesn't even have a page set up. Let's see. I'll always use a dark post, or it's called, an unpublished post, which is basically
Right.
I'll click on use existing post, I'll click on this, and I'll usually write something like social works best, or it used to be like you could ask questions and whatnot, but I mean I'll stay away from stuff like that mostly. For this one, I'd say, I do stuff like how cute is this or how adorable is this kind of questions, or I'll just be like, you know. How cute is this tea for your grandma? Or I might, if it was Gigi, again, we were talking about personalizing it in that aspect too, like whatever, going after the specifics without doing the personalization ourselves,
Oh yeah, so just let me explain that because I wanted to make sure we share that with everybody. So as we were kind of getting set up, and I just kind of grabbed this from one of the designs your designer did at Best GD Ever, and we realized like, okay, well the periods are not going to work, and we're gonna, and then it's, we're gonna kind of do it as a grandma, and then you can personalize your name, and you started telling me like, oh yeah, we used to call my grandma whatever it was the French name, Memi or whatever.
Meme and Pepe, yeah.
Memi and Pepe, and I said, I wonder if, not even just doing a personalized one, if you can just find, because I remember my friend growing up, he was German, and his grandparents lived with them, and they used to call them Oma and Omi, and I just always stuck to me because it was so different. I never heard that before, and so as we were even just talking about the webinar, that kind of popped up as an idea is using. So an example like this, because I know we have a lot of members that have stores that are family and grandma stores, so maybe researching those specific type of grandma nicknames that are in different nationalities and different cultures that what they use, and instead of even doing a personalized one where you have to kind of target a whole range of grandmothers, that would be another great test to do. Is just, okay, I'm gonna target ones that I'm just gonna make the shirt, and that way if it has an accent over it, we don't have to worry about the software. We're just gonna use that. We're gonna target grandmas or whatever you were just talking about how you would target it normally. Do a bunch of ad sets with just that specific name towards that nationality, French.
Yeah, I mean, like we could do, if we were doing that, like this one, where the older daughters were, and that would be a way to narrow down these big audience. But I could do all the ones with kids, and then we know for a fact that, whatever it is, the German name or whatever, or the French name, let's say it's the French one. So then we could just target people that speak French all, or maybe it's just Canada, but that would, that brings it down to like a crazy 12,000, but that's also like because of this.
Right.
500,000 speak French that are 25 to 35 women. We'd obviously want to make sure they're parents, so that they.
And I don't know how a lot of you guys out there, you can kind of chime in if you have any questions for Eric. Start typing them in now. Especially if it has to do with targeting or just offers or whatever, because I have some more questions too. But again, it was just something that we kind of came across, and to be honest, I don't know how many of you guys out there are using some of these demographics. And from what I can tell, do you think, Eric, that you use a lot of the demographics there with some of your ads, or are you still using like just more detailed, just interest targeting, or are you using a lot of those demographics, and have you seen a lot of success with those demographic type targeting?
I mean, as far as, like I said, everything is product specific. So, all right, here's an example of one that I just working a little bit right now that I didn't know how to target. I mean, sometimes you're just like, how would I target this? All right, so it's this little cute little mushroom speaker. It's wireless. It's about it's like $5-6 on AliExpress. So I was testing it just at $9.99, trying to get and doing like a 10% discount for 3 or more. but starting just to get the pixel, I start with a lot of the time I'll start with a price lower just to see like to get the pixel warmed up, and then I'll increase the price as I get the pixel warmed up.
Okay.
And don't have to worry about that, you know, people, that's just how, you know, it's up to you to price accordingly, and you're allowed to throw sales and do whatever you want. So, you know, don't ever worry about, oh, you know, you got to test everything, and, you know, but so it's this mushroom speaker, and I'm like, okay, how would I start for a smaller audience? And so I just figured it's cutesy. I made like a little video on a just a video ad. I didn't do a page post engagement. I did a video ad. I didn't do a video. I created a slideshow with, you know, you can create a pretty cool little slideshow ads, and they work just as good. The videos definitely, you get cheaper clicks, a lot more engagement. But I was like trying to figure out, okay, I mean, and this is as crazy as it is. I just knew, okay, women, I'm gonna try, you know, I did 18 at first. I ended up finding out that 35 to 44 was working the best, but you know, I leave it wide open at first so that I can get the data and see what's working. So I think I did like 18 to 44 women. Now I'm like, okay, who would be into this mushroom? So I basically came up with, I don't know why, but I just figured these kind of people, I knew the demographic would probably like it, was cosplay, wasn't it? And that's the one that actually was one of the ones that was working really well. Another one, I'm like, well, it looks like the mushrooms from Super Mario Brothers. So I'm like, Super Mario Brothers, and I did, you know, I actually targeted Super Mario Brothers targeting, like this one right here, Super Mario. I did them in separate ad sets. And then I was like, okay, what else, you know? And I tested like 4 different ad sets, and actually the cosplay one worked the best. And then I just ran it up like until I had like 100 conversions, and then I created a lookalike. And it's crazy, like that's what I'm saying about like the targeting not being really that not as important as it used to be, because once you can get enough sales and basically create a lookalike audience, almost like a lot of the time I'm finding now that the lookalike audience is working better than anything you targeted in the first place, which is crazy, and scary at the same time. You know, basically Facebook knows exactly the type of people, like what all, you know, the same kind of people that like the same kind of things and buy the same types of stuff. That's who they make that 2 million, you know, person audience off of. And you know, once you have conversions, I'll quickly go to audiences here and just show it in case they're very, you know, never done it. But what you're doing when you have your pixel is you take your pixel, and you can first, you got to create your audiences. So you create them off, you can create them off emails you already have. Engagement is a newer one. So you do website traffic. Now anyone that visited, I'll do for traffic, I'll do anyone that visits the specific page, and I'll set up a traffic audience for, you know, that product. Then I'll do one that's a certain page, or I'll do them by events. All right, who add to cart, who all the add to carts, and from that specific page, URL equals the specific page right here, the URL of that page. Then I'll do another audience that is purchase. And you know, you can create lookalikes from tons of different things, from your ads, you know, add to carts, your traffic to that page, from your buyer's emails, from the purchase event. You can change them from the, like, different time periods, the last 14 days, the last 30, because you want different options, because you want to be able to create more lookalikes. Once you have those audiences, after running the ads for a little bit, you would go here and you'd create a lookalike audience. You would choose one of the things you have and the country you want to create the lookalike audience. You know, I mostly don't target outside of the U.S. I mean, there's so much you can do in the U.S. So then, and then you can create your first audience will be 1%. That creates 2,100,000 people. But then you can also create broader or bigger lookalikes, like 3 different ones. One would be 1%, one would be 1 to 2%, and then okay, I didn't want to do that. Yeah, see, it's 1 to 2%, and I guess 1 to 5% would be that third one.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, that's for scaling. Basically, though, even without scaling, like once you have enough conversions, I definitely always like I get those buyer conversions. But you can find out that like I've also found the traffic and add to carts will work just as well too. But I hurry up and create lookalike audiences. That's like my main objective now. Is like if it seems to be working, get enough conversions. Or enough traffic, enough conversions to basically create my first lookalike audience, which is a 2 million person audience that seems to work better, and you get better price per purchase because you're not going after, like the CPM is lower, which is your cost per 1,000 impressions, because you have a bigger audience. It's not niche, it's not targeted, it's just a lookalike audience that was created for you from your. So it's a lot cheaper, and for whatever reason, the Pixel's so smart now, it seems to just get you better conversions at a cheaper cost. So that's
awesome. Yeah, I have a ton of questions. So real quick, because I know we have a lot of questions coming in, but so you tend to set all those audiences up beforehand before you start running your campaign, regardless of whether you know it's going to be a successful campaign or not.
Tell you the truth, I don't, because I don't want that to slow me down. I basically test a couple different products. Let's say I test 2 to 5 new products a day. So I'll just get them up, get them going. If I start to see some that look like basically what I wanted to say earlier, one of the biggest things you can do is never fall in love with your design or product, right? I can't fall in love with this. I just have to basically be very cold, be cold to these products. Find whatever works and go with it. That's the best, if you fall in love with your products, you're going to have problems. You basically, because you'll be like, oh, this is so clever, I know it's going to work. No, well, maybe it just doesn't work. So you can't do nothing. You don't want to fight what people want to buy. So you just got to be cold, get a bunch of products going, whatever it is, test and see what works. So like, I take this one, I get those 2 to 5 products testing, and then if I see, I kill the ones that just don't show anything, and maybe I once in a while personally, with more experience, you can feel like, I know this can work. I must have did the targeting wrong. So I'll test it a little more, do some different targeting or something, before I kill it. But I mean, in the beginning, when you're not as experienced, you should just kill stuff that's not working and let the stuff run a little bit longer that's making some sales and looks promising, because it needs to warm the pixel up. But if I see those ones that seem to look promising, like they're probably going to work, that's when I'll I won't, wait too long, but like at least like about 2 days into it, if I didn't kill it yet, then I'll create the audiences, like the traffic. And I mean, just because I don't want to waste time on that,
Right. I know a few of you have said that you can hear me. I took out my headphones. Can you guys hear me a little bit better now before I start asking some questions?
Yeah, you were kind of like faded back a little bit compared to now.
I think I'm having an issue with my mic, my headphone portal there. So okay, that's better. So yeah, we're gonna go a little bit longer today, guys, which is cool with me. If it's cool with you, I know that you have a lot of questions, and so I'm gonna just start firing off some. First, Eric, can you share with us what products you are selling that work really well? AliExpress jewelry, leggings. Appreciate you sharing.
Well, I'm not gonna. I gave you a couple.
Yeah,
but
you kind of mentioned.
I have no problem with that. And you know, it's crazy because I mean, first of all, you can really just go and there's a lot of spy tools. You can't really, if you're using Shopify, I'm not sure if there's a way or not, but to even hide you from the search tools that are out there. I mean, there's plenty of ways to, you know, and even with, you know, like I said, I mean, a lot of my extra sales are print on demand stuff like T-Rex, but I'll find like a cheap little offer that I call an engagement offer to get them in, whether it's a free plus shipping or it's just something that I know will get them in, that, and then I'll build stuff out around that are teas, that, you know, whatever the audience is that's buying it, you know, for that little mushroom. And I knew I targeted cosplay at first, so so after it, you know, I was making some sales, I was like, all right, cosplay. All right, I had my designer find some cosplay quotes and do some shirts that are, you know, like had to do with cosplay. And you know, I spend all my money on help. I'm broke. I spend all my money on cosplay stuff, type of stuff, you know, anything like that. But I was also like, all right, you know, what can I find over here? And one of the things was cosplay wigs. And so I always like, here's my Shopify, so I can one-click upload into the stores. But basically, I always sort by orders, and then you know what's selling. So these things have some decent sales. So what I did is I just uploaded this one, I think, and then I went this one, and this one, and a short anime one down here somewhere. This one, I think. And you know, I put those and the other teas, and then I was like, all right, like what other kinds of things cosplayer, what they're into anime, you know. And I do jewelry, you know, stuff like this. And I just basically throw a lot of that stuff around in the same collection, so that it comes up in the related to. I use for my like different I like my page to basically be like this and a bunch of other stuff they can buy. I use I think it's called Personalizer app from LimeSpot, and it has like basically like rows of these with arrows, and it'll be like other people bought these, most popular, you know, and it'll show the ones they just looked at, just like Amazon style, and it seems to work really good. And it also offers upsells right at add to cart, and it kind of learns as well. So that's a pretty good app. But that's what I'll do as far as that. And as far as you know, coming up with the initial offer, you know, I'll use a couple different gauges. I mean, I'll go to Amazon, and I'll just look around on the bestseller list. What's, you know, and a lot of that you can find a lot of good things. I'll use watch count to find out what's selling on eBay, and you can never worry about, like, pretty much all the hottest products are being sold for very cheap, coming from China, direct, right? eBay, people like all over the place. You can't worry about that. I sell the same stuff that sells for $5 for 20 or 30 bucks. I mean, you have to basically consider that a lot of people don't price shop. Plus, Facebook isn't for impulse buyers. They're going to mostly buy right there, or you retarget them to remind them, and they'll come back and buy. They're not going to go look around for that product elsewhere. But this is watch count. This I'll type in either something I'm thinking of, like, or I'll just put in like I'll just put in like letters, and it'll find stuff for me. Like I'll just put in WE, let's say, and then I'll, you know, show me what's most popular. I'll put, let's see, it's not doing it like it usually does. Why is it not doing that? Sorry. It used to be able to do, you could just do like a couple letters, but let's just say, I don't know, sunglasses. what is going on here? What am I doing wrong? I know you don't have to. All right, there's some kind of problem right now, but usually you can do that, and it'll show you all the popular stuff. Then you'll click and you'll go to eBay and see within the day were there any purchases. Usually you'll see in red, and see how many were sold before and how many are on the wish list, right? And you know that there's still. That's how I found plenty of really good items on eBay, what was selling for really cheap. Then I'd go source it at, if I had to find it for I'd source it AliExpress and test it. It's all about testing. But even on here, you can find there's bestsellers on here as well. You can go to the homepage and best selling and trending and just
Cool. That's a lot of good info. I hope you guys are getting all that. We have a question from Craig that asks, when you duplicate a campaign, do you go to a new audience using the same product?
As far as...
So I think what he means is like, say for instance, like you were kind of showing us with the grandma shirt, when you duplicate a campaign, do you...
Well, for duplicating anything, when you're setting up, there's two reasons I duplicate campaigns or ad sets, but usually like I'll do a campaign and I'll usually, when I know something's working, I'll do like, I'll have the ad set that's working, and if it's a big enough audience, I'll duplicate it like 10 times and just let them run, and whichever ones are, and I'll do $5 different budgets, like I'll do 5, 10, 15, 25, 35, 45, for whatever reason. Even stuff that's working or not working, there's two things. There's one, it just treats, for some reason, we have them at different budget by $5. Some of them just always run better, and that also is the same, kind of in the same fashion. There's something like it's kind of called the gold vein. Like for some reason, certain ad sets with the same targeting and everything, just of 10, like maybe 1 or 2 will just perform like way better than all the other ones, and that's not just in the beginning, like long term, they just perform way better. It's like Facebook finds a gold vein of buyers and just it stays on that, and it's like I'll usually do that because I want to find those better ones, and I'll just kill all the ones that aren't performing that good, and I'll keep the ones that are.
So you just duplicate those ad sets, but you don't really, so once you find one that starts converting, you don't change anything, you just duplicate it with maybe different budgets.
Exactly. That's for scaling. In the beginning, if he was just talking about duplicating what I did earlier when I was showing you to set up a campaign, that was just a quick way to I keep forgetting. Thought I was looking at Power Editor. They just changed that to tabs just like 2 days ago. Facebook, it's like you got to really immerse yourself, just like everything else. Immerse yourself in it because it's like constantly changing. I mean. But if you're in it every day, it doesn't mess you up. But for this, I just wanted to quickly create new ad sets. So I just, even though this had whatever targeting, like if I duplicate it now, it's going to be, let's say I duplicate it 5 times, or just I'll duplicate it once. So I'll duplicate it. I'm just doing that. It'll have the exact same targeting. Now, what I was talking about was, yeah, if I want to run the same targeting on all ad sets, I'll just change the budgets. But if I duplicated it just to create new ones, so basically, yeah, it has the same stuff, but this is the new one. It's checked. Now I'm only working on that one. Whatever one you're checked on is the one you're working on. So it's just to quickly duplicate it. But if I want to change it, I'll come down here and I'll change the targeting, and then now it has. This one is 16 to 20, so I'll just put 16 to 20, and that's a new ad set basically that has different targeting, right? But right. This one's still the same. That was just a quick way to duplicate rather than create a new ad set each time. Okay, I don't know, just a faster. Like if I did all of these, like let's say I took this one, right, and I just want to, in this first, let me see. All right, I'm gonna just kill these, right? Just for speed, you know, the speed factor, like I was talking about. Let's say I just want to do 5 ad sets. So instead of creating an ad set and doing each one, I'll just set up the main stuff I want on the first ad set. Then I'll duplicate it 4 times, and then now I have these. Now each one with all 4, I'll just change it. Let's say I want to change them to 10 on this one, and all right, I'll just change to men on this one. So then I might, you know, but usually I don't even change the name because like I said, I just look at what the costs and, like, you know, what's working. I don't really care until, you know, until it's working. Then I'll rename it and look at the interest, what it was or whatever. For speed though, I'll just, so now that changed all 4 of these. So now I'll just unclick this one and I'll go to this one. See, it has 10 now and it has men. So now this one I want to do all, and that's it. Now it's gonna, these 2 are both gonna be all. See, all. But now this one I'm gonna do a different, whatever it is. I'm gonna do this. They make $1 million to $2 million a year. Oh, and that's a good one to go after, is like people, you know, if depending, you can always test like the amount of money they make and have to just blow on stuff. But now, all right, so I uncheck this one and that one's going to be that, and you'll see it's the same. See, it's the same. So only the one that you check is like the one that you're dealing with. So now I want to take this one out, and that's a different ad set. Now they're ready to go. And then, you know, you can do the same with the ads if you want to, you know, to change up the ads. And like I was saying earlier, since we're on here longer anyways, I wanted to finish that. I'll usually always start with a page post engagement because Facebook's a social platform. So it's like they follow the herd, and also they tag each other a lot, and, you know, tag people to buy it for them type of stuff. So I'll always create a dark unpublished post, not on my fan page. On my fan page, I'll just, like, after a while of building up likes and stuff, I'll just add random posts and stuff like that to just, you know, that are different than even the ads I'm running, to kind of see if I get any sales from there and whatnot. But yeah, I'll basically write whatever, you know, whatever I'll write. Best GG ever, question mark, shower, you love her. And then put like some emojis, always put emojis. And then I'll put, get it here, I'll put the link. And then usually on the 3rd line, I'll put something like 20% off today. I won't put only, because then I'd be lying, but if today it's 20%, every day it's 20% off, but today it is too, so.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't like to lie, but I mean, it is 20% off today and every other day too. So, but then I'll click on either, you can create, see right here, you can create the different ones. Carousels work great. They all work great, but I always usually just start off with, I'll test like 2 and I'll just pick, I don't know, whatever I feel like at the moment. But usually I'll just start with a regular good photo. And you can just go like this and click on something. Oh, you guys caught another one I was testing right here. He wanted to get all my, here's another one I was testing. This seems to be working a little bit for Android phones. So put that in there, and then I'll just save unpublished post. Oh, one of the other big things, there's a lot of things, but you can view it in mobile, feature, instant articles, desktop right column. That's another thing. When I'm setting up initial, like I'll do all, let's see here, I'll do, you always, oh, I was talking about the one-day click I do. I've been getting a lot of better results with one-day click right here. It's just like, for me, it seems to work faster to get conversions.
Yeah, because that was somebody's question. It was about what is one-day click. He was going to mention that. So usually, yeah. I know a lot of times you set it up when you're setting up. It's for your optimization, really. But
it's the
Usually it's
conversion
7 days.
window. It's the conversion window right here, and usually or when it's set up on 7 days click, it gives it more time. For me, I've been getting better results with 1 day click, but I start my budgets bigger. That might actually be better if you're doing smaller budgets, like $5, $10, to leave on 7 day click. But I start mine with, because I'm just, I like to get data quick. I start mine on like $70 and $90 per ad set budgets. So I'll do 1 day click. And just, I don't know, you got to test both. I usually do test 1 day and 7 day, and I just seem to get better results with 1 day.
Because we just
real quick
question about
before you do
okay,
that, the other thing I wanted to mention real quick that's very important if you're newer to ads is always never leave this on. You never ever leave that on. You have to edit placements. All devices is fine, but make sure, because they'll send an audience network, which is like apps and crap, like, oh my god, it'll burn all your money on this and you won't get any conversions. Always click that off. Instagram, I'll go back to once I have a winner and test, but I always take that off too. And then in Facebook, make sure you take off. Right column really works good for retargeting, but that's later. So I take that off. Instant articles, unless if you're doing that, I haven't really tested much. I'm sure they work good, but you have to create the ad for the instant article only, because as you saw, it stretches, it makes it look all weird. So I take that off. I only do feeds, and I'll leave it to all devices, and it'll test both desktop and mobile. Most of the traffic will go to mobile. So you also probably sometimes want to run just desktop, and that's when you'll be like, especially when you're doing grandma stuff, it's more likely they're going to be on desktop. So you want to do desktop only in feeds. So, okay, I just wanted to mention that part. You definitely want to always edit your placements.
Okay, yes, yeah, definitely. Very good.
That'll screw you from ever converting. You'll be like, I'm wasting so much money and blah, 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 and you won't know why. And the reason is because they'll send you to crappy traffic if you don't edit your placements and get rid of all this other stuff, especially the audience network. That little guy, oh my God, I've tested it and it's just crap. So don't do that. All right, questions?
No, so if you can just go back to that area, because I have a couple people start asking about the 1 day click. Can you just briefly just explain exactly what a 1 day click and 7 day click is, and why you would? And it's where you are. It's in your, when you're setting up your ad, and it's underneath your placements, because there's somebody says they have a really small screen, so they just want to know where it's at. But yeah,
all right. You have, when you're in the ad set, you have the ad set name. You got to make sure your conversion is on purchase. If you're advertising an offer, you can create offers, which are pretty cool, because you can give like a discount through an offer. One thing that's working really cool now too is targeting Messenger. You can target Messenger and do ads, or you can have them click and open it like a little something in their Messenger, but that's a little more advanced. We'll get into that another day. But then you're going to have your audience, so you're going to choose your audience, your country, the men or women. If you were using a lookalike or custom audience, there'll be a custom audience thing right here, but we don't have any yet. That's why it's asking to create one, because I didn't save those ones I was showing you. Your interest is your targeting. If you want to, like, once you have a target, if you want to now, which is very cool, you can, whatever it is, hunting, you can now also narrow the audience. So I'm hunting and people that like Cabela's, a brand store. That's a good brand. So that would target it down. It would get it down to 2 million people, whatever. The connection type is, this is for your own pages and whatnot, people who like your page, friends your page.
right, you go through your placements.
And then now we're going to go down to placements. It's going to be on automatic placements. Highly not recommended. Do not do that. Always edit placements. And this is where you can do your device types. If I did mobile only, I can do like only down here. I can do, well, first, always just choose feeds. That's the one thing on platforms. Then you have advanced options. If I just want to do iPhone or Android, I'll just do Androids, right? Let's say. Now, after that, you have optimization and delivery. You always want to, it'll be on conversions. You always want it on conversions. Now, the conversion window, that's what this is. To select the amount of time it typically takes for someone to complete a valuable action, a conversion. So the way I was looking at it, I just tested, but the way I was looking at it is I want them to complete the action. I want them to buy when they the first day. I don't want to have to, yeah, a lot of my money comes from retargeting. Most of my money comes from retargeting. You'll find that too. Like retargeting is so big. All your conversions will be like half the cost of your regular conversions with retargeting. And the more traffic you send, the more money you'll make from retargeting. Like I make probably a bulk, more of the money like on those $5,000 days from retargeting than I do from the actual ads. But that's just because a lot of people won't buy that first time. So I'll worry about that 7 days with retargeting is the way I look at it. And it's on 7 days click. Once I saw this, I just started testing it. You could also do it by the view. After clicking or viewing an ad, 1 day click or view, 7 days click or view. 1 day click or 7 days click. So I do 1 day click. I want them to basically buy on that first day. That's the way I was looking at it. And then there's automatic and manual bidding. That's another advanced topic. Manual bidding, you can get your costs down by slowly optimizing your bid. You got to start high, and then as you get, you can get your CPM cost down. This is all fine. Standard, always leave it on standard. You don't want to run accelerated because it'll just burn up your budget without having time to warm up the pixel.
Cool. A couple kind of basic questions, which we want all your questions, guys. So we know there's a lot of members that are in different areas of their internet marketing in their store. So, and just some people are just getting into, so don't worry about that if it's basic. What is a dark post?
It's just another name for an unpublished post. That means that it's going to run as an ad, but it's not actually going to be on your fan page.
Yeah. So basically, not like an engagement ad or a conversion ad where you use a page post. It's an ad that you set up. Normally, they're like either a clicks to website ad or
a page post engagement is basically you could do a page the same ad create it on your fan page, right, as a post, right, and then you would just choose it in here like this. Use this one. But if you create it right here if you create it in here, create a new page post, and you could still publish it as right here as a publish, right?
Yeah.
That's going to actually show on your fan page. But dark posts are unpublished posts. They run as an ad. It still shows it's coming from your fan page. But if anyone went to your fan page, they won't see that ad sitting there as a post. And the reason why I'll use those is because I don't want someone to find my fan page and just see every single ad that I'm running that's doing well just by finding. All you got to do is see thousands of likes on an ad, and you know that it's thousands of likes, comments, etc., and you know it's doing well. So it's basically like hiding all your good ads. I mean, people can find them regardless, but it gives it a little bit more, it's a little harder than just having all your good ads on your fan page, and they can see like how many likes and whatever you ran, by running traffic to it.
Cool. Okay, a couple more here, guys. So I know that we had, and maybe on your next webinar with us, you can talk a little bit more about AliExpress. And I know we had a couple people and say, well, why are you going to be using Trex for some of the the one-click upsells? And like you kind of mentioned earlier, you really like how you can put all your products in one and your cross products on Trex. And I know we talked about we had a couple questions. Are you having a lot of customer service issues and problems with the drop shipping from China and all that? And so if you just want to touch really quickly on that, and like I said, there's probably like 2 hours you can speak on it, but people had a little bit of interest in that. And
yeah, I mean, I have no problem too. I mean, I'm as long as there's questions. I mean, we don't have to get off. I don't have to get off quickly, but I'm trying to just give all I can right now. So basically, there's two things. If I was newer, I definitely would get my hands wet with all this print on demand. You can still make a great ton of money with just print on demand stuff, and you don't have to worry about the headaches of all the other, like, I would not, like, I mean, I'll be teaching the drop shipping model for sure. Like, it's the best way to, but I do like a lot of print on demand as well. I still do a lot of print on demand, and you know, and people get that like the first week, and they're like, "Where's my other product?" Like, so with all that, I mean, it would take a while, but mainly we have. First of all, I say I'll usually at least say it, you know, because of big demand, huge demand. This product will take 12 to 20 days to get to you. I'll do pretty small. I won't do it like crazy. And sometimes I've gotten to the point where I don't even usually say that. I usually say that in the like I'll send an automated email saying it shipped out in 2 days, and I'll say, but because we deal direct with our supply. You know, it'll take 12 to 20 days because we deal direct with our suppliers, so that we can pass down the savings to our customers. I mean, yeah, it does piss some people off, but you can't really, if you let that stop you, then it's just not the business for you. But basically, when you're doing thousands of orders like we are, like you go to onlinejobs.ph and you start hiring Filipino customer service. We have, for that store I showed you, we actually have, well, for basically a couple stores, we have a four-girl team that works their nights to be in our day, and spread out through the week 24/7, because I need my ads also to be covered by them. They cover all the ads, hide all the people that, you know, there's so many trolls out there. I mean, oh, I can get this at eBay for $1, or I send this on Amazon for $6 when you're selling it for 20. So you gotta, when you start getting big, you can do all that yourself at first, but when you start getting big, you have to get a team of VAs, and Filipinos are the cheapest and the best. Like, they're very nice, they're very loyal. You know, we have that 4-person team is $1,000 a month for us, 250 each. You know, and then we give them a $50 raise after 3 months. And then, you know, you want to, if they stay on for a year, but basically you're looking at $200 to $300 for a full-time employee. And they talk great English. So we have that team 24/7, helping on Messenger, answering support, watching my ads, the comments, replying to, you know, with the link, and say, you know, whenever people are like, oh, love it, I want it, blah, 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 they say that in the comments, you want to reply to them with your link. Again, it's, you know, so, and then I have a graphic designer that we pay I think we pay him $650 a month. He's a great designer. You can find great web designers too. I mean, these are all college educated, you know, people, and depending if they're in the country, they're not in the city. I mean, $300 a month is really good for. They're like, you know, in their young 20s. They live at home still, so that's actually good money for them. And then we just hired a tech guy to do like uploading and to do like editing and set up funnels and whatnot. So you definitely want to look at that, but not until you've done it all yourself and you're growing. Now, the other thing with T-Rex, yeah, I mean, I've been like, you can do really well setting up funnels with ecom rather than sending them to a, you know, even a page. Yeah, it works when you're sending them to a page, to a full store on Shopify or whatever it might be, T-Rex. They definitely work. But I like to, and that's what I love about T-Rex, is that I can set up like just a page that won't go anywhere else and lead. Like, ecom funnels work way better, especially if you're doing, like, let's say you're doing a free plus shipping offer or any like engagement offer to get them in on that first buy, and then one click upsell them relevant products. Always converts better, and you make more money doing that, even if you're, you know, drop shipping or whatever it is. So that's what's cool about. There's still pretty much T-Rex is the only tool that you can set up an ecom funnel You know, I love ClickFunnels, but it's not built for ecom, and you have to go spend like $47 a month on CF Pro Tools to even make it close to working for ecom, and it's still not great the way it's set up. And then you have these other apps that you can hook up to Shopify, but they all kind of don't work great either. And that's what I love about T-Rex more than anything. But at the same time, the personalization that you get too, there's no other platform that does that. And I know people just love personalized goods for whatever reason. So
awesome. So here's a couple other questions here. Let's see, I kind of lost my spot for a second. So another, let's see here, what is it? What is the difference between, and this will kind of answer a couple of the other questions, what is the difference between an ad set and a campaign?
All right, the campaign is the overall, well, campaign. It's the campaign is the main, all right, it's your main, like, ad sets are inside of campaigns. The campaign is like what your goal is. So this one is, I'm selling this grandma t-shirt, right? So I first start by creating a campaign, and then once I've created the campaign, you're going to have at least one ad set with one ad. Now the ad set is where you do your targeting inside of that campaign like we did. So I set up the campaign that it's going to hold the ad set and the ad. I create sorry, I have to open it up right here, and I create my targeting for at least one ad set. You don't have to do multiple ad sets, but it's better to start with a couple so that you're kind of casting a wider net of different targets. Set this up, and then each ad set, or you could run one ad. You could run different ads per ad set, or you can run 2 ads for all the ad set, or just one ad, one page post engagement. Usually I'll do just 2 ads that are for all the ad sets, and I'll just split test like 2 different, you know, whether it's a different image on the, you know, a different page post engagement and use a different image, or copy, or I'll use a video compared to you know, I'll just test different types of ads and see, sometimes for whatever reason, but I always at least have one that's a page post engagement to start for sure. Those are definitely still doing really well. Video really does well too nowadays, and video you can get a lot cheaper views and whatnot, and then you can retarget people that just didn't even go to your website, that just basically watched a certain amount of your video, so that's good too. Hope that explained it.
Yeah, no, that's great. So this is from Jeanette. Jeanette, I'm actually going to put this in the chat here. She was just asking about the funnels. If not ClickFunnels, explain about T-Rex funnels. So just look at here. I put this. Matthew did a really good like 12-step video training on the just how to use like the Trex funnel. And so because you know, there's a lot of, you know, it's kind of not really involved, but you got to know a certain amount of steps. So I'm just going to put that in the chat because I know we have some new people in here. So that's how you get to that in the members area. If you guys are having trouble, if you're new, or if you have not been to the members area where all the training videos are, just if you're not being able to access the content, just send in a support ticket, and they'll get that taken care of pretty quickly. And if you don't know what that is, it's I'll put that in here. So that's the support. That's the support. So okay, so moving on from that, that should help you out, Jeanette. Joanne asked, why is the largest audience not helpful? I would think the more people possible, the better. Which is a good question, because I know a lot of people get confused on this. Why you don't want to have like a 3 million person audience or something like that.
I mean, you only want to go to those bigger audiences by lookalike, which creates a 2,100,000 person audience and seems to work good because they're all very like your buyers that you created or your traffic. But the reason you don't want to start with some big audience is because in the beginning you want to go a lot more targeted and niche to start out with to get those initial conversions. Once you have those conversions and you can use that data to look at what was performing best, then you can, you know, go bigger audiences with, as long as they're still in tune with what your data says. But basically, it's just a rule of thumb that you want to start your, you know, you can go a little bigger, but like anywhere from like 200,000 to 800,000. You don't want to go more than that, just because it's just harder. Like, you're using, if you're going at 3 million people, it's basically like you're using a shotgun approach and just trying, you know, you're not going to be as targeted as you can be, and it's going to be a lot less likely that it'll take off and get those conversions without spending a ton more money. The smaller your audience, the more targeted towards something that at least seems it would work, the more likely you're going to get sales. And then once you've gotten sales and you're ready to scale, you're ready to, you know, go after more people, then you can, you know, you can go after bigger audiences. But I still wouldn't really recommend going after the bigger audiences other than lookalikes. Like I said, lookalikes audiences seem to work almost better. So a lot of the time they do work better than the initial targeting, but it's because it's basically targeting very similar people, just giving you a lot more, you know.
So yeah, so I hope that helps, Joanne. So yeah, what he's saying is just, at first you want to try to find that really good audience by being a little bit more targeted, and once you find a good audience and you're getting conversions, that's when you want to go create a lookalike audience. I know we had a few questions about that, and I think we're actually going to, since we had a lot of questions about that and a lot of, not confusion, but I think a lot of people don't really know the power of custom audiences, maybe we'll cover that on Tuesday, and we'll get a lot more into depth on that.
There's definitely, yeah, we can definitely, it's definitely important. You know, there's definitely like pillars of importance. Like first, like the most important is basically action, right? Just getting something going. So test, like, you know, set up, you know, you would set up one campaign, 2 ad sets, 1 ad, the 2 ad sets be as targeted as you can think of. And get it, you know, around that 200,000 to 500,000 person audience, and just, you know, $5 budgets on both ad sets, and just let them run and see, you know, get some data, get some results. And that's another thing we'd have to spend some time on, is how to like really look at the data, and we can focus on that as well. Another webinar, Michael. So because the data is important, how to read the data. And then once you get those conversions, enough conversions or enough traffic, then you can create those, well, like I said, if you start seeing something going on, then you create those, the next pillar of importance will hurry up, create those custom audiences so that it can build them. The thing is, though, the reason I don't worry about that too, Michael, is it goes back in time too. As long as the pixels on your website, you can create a custom audience from, like, you know,
like, what is that, 6 months you can go back usually?
Yes.
180.
Worry that you're not tracking it. It's just you haven't created it yet. It is tracking it. It's just not created it yet. So then once, you know, like I said, it's just, don't waste your time. Just get an ad running first. Then after that, you create those audiences and you go back, and once you have enough of that conversion data, you start creating lookalikes to scale. You need those to scale. To do, I mean, you'd be surprised. Like I even, one of the biggest things in e-com that surprised the hell out of me is how big you can scale like one product. Like there's just products that I've done one product that are doing $5,000 a day on, you know, like, and it just blew my mind. I mean, but you know, just in America too. It's like, but I mean, that's how it is. It was 70 million people in America. So it's like, you know, a lot of little products can sell like thousands of dollars a day for months. So
that kind of goes into one of our last couple of questions here, and I think we'll honestly get into scaling, but before I ask that, Craig, he wants to know, how do you scale when you have a winner, because I'm sure there's lots of depth to that. But just a quicker question on the video or slideshow. Are the slideshows considered video ads? And if so, I mean, do you have your outsources create videos, or are they slideshow videos that you do to demo your products?
If you want to not be lazy like me, like, I mean, I'll the video ads are actually videos, so you can basically, like, I'll usually find, if I find something, it's almost always on YouTube, so I'll go to Keep Vid, I think it's called, when I'm not being lazy. Like I was selling spiralizers, right? So I went and I found some good spiralizer videos, like basically demoing a spiralizer perfectly, and it had a little logo on the right corner, but I just basically, you can you get the link and you can download it, and then I take it into Camtasia, which is a screen share and editing program, and I just edit out the logo of that video that they had on it, and used it as an ad. And you can, I mean, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, but I'm not really, something like that. I wasn't, it wasn't like, it was just some random content that was out there. It's up to you whether you're willing to do that, or you make your own video. But I barely ever, like, until something's winning, I don't really go and use the videos, because I'll just create a slideshow with images. So all you have to do now, like, if I want to create a slideshow, you basically see, add with image or video, and then video slideshow, and create slideshow, and original, I'll do about 2 seconds each, and I usually want to keep it around 10 to 12 seconds. I'll do fade, add photos, and then, those are weird. So I'll confirm, and then I'll maybe put some, they really only have cheesy demo music, but and then I'll just, like, see it just, and then you can edit and put text on it too. I'll put, like, free, just pay shipping, and then I'll put it at the bottom or top, depending on the picture. I might put it green or whatever color to stand out, red, and then bold it and save it, and then that'll be on there too. And then, so all you got to do, well, I'm done. I create slideshow, and that's going to be my ad. And you want to make sure that this is the link that it's sending to the page of the product. And then you can also, what's awesome on these is you can put long headlines, and they stay there, like I'll do like three sentence headlines, because and then text on the top, the big headline on the bottom, and then newsfeed, and put a shop now button or whatever. Can't be used for Instagram. Yeah, that's fine. So, and then this, the URL. That's just, I mean, I do that all the time because it's so easy. You just throw a bunch, and these, yeah, they basically run like videos. Okay. And when you have, like, a good, like, whatever it is, and you have good images that you want, that in the carousels work great too, which is basically a bunch of ads. You can do ads and videos in these carousels now. It's crazy. So, but people love to click through different stuff, especially like if it's like jewelry or apparel or something,
Cool. Yeah, I didn't even know, like, I haven't done a slideshow in a while, so that's some great information, man. Even just, I didn't know that you can add text and all that stuff to it now, so very, very cool. Okay, so just I guess in a roundabout way, I want to answer Craig's question here. He just said, how do you scale, or what do you mean by scaling, or how do you scale when you have a winner? And I know there's a lot to it, but do you have like a brief explanation?
Yeah, and obviously we'll have to focus on that on another day too. But basically, when I find a winner, more than anything in the beginning, I just duplicate. First, I'll I'll duplicate the ad set a bunch of times. It's just about duplicating and finding, like, even the same ad set, I'll just run 10 of them and weed out the ones that aren't doing the best or not doing good at all, and keep the ones that are doing good. And then so that starts getting you, more revenue, more sales. And then other than that, I'll really like create a bunch of different lookalike audiences, one off the traffic, one off the add to carts, one off the buyers, and then I'll run those, and then the ad sets of those that are doing well, I'll duplicate a bunch of times, or I'll duplicate the campaign 10 times, 20 times. I mean, it's crazy, but like, that's how I'll quickly go from like $100, $200 a day to 5,000 just by duplicating a bunch of campaigns 20 million times. But I'll also create a bunch of different lookalikes, and the other important thing after you get those lookalikes running and you duplicate a bunch of them is definitely have a bunch of different retargeting. And I'm because I want to be fast action on everything, I'm very like what's the word? Like, I just move. I don't like care too much about being too like creative and stuff in the beginning. But once I see that something's working, then I'll go back and spend my time doing different types of ads, videos, the carousel, and I'll do different, and then I'll do all those ads for the retargeting too. I'll do one that's a video retargeting, one that's a regular just website click. A lot of, for retargeting, the website click ads work great, where, and then I'll do only on mobile, and I'll do only right-hand desktop, where, these are just click. Once they've seen it, and it's just you reminding them, hey, just want to remind you, maybe life got in the way, come back and grab your whatever it is. So then I'll get a lot more creative, and I'll cover all my bases when I know it's starting to win and I'm scaling. I'll do a lot of lookalike audience, a lot of duplicating the campaigns and ad sets, and a lot of retargeting, covering all those people that now I have a lot of traffic going to my site, so I want to make sure I have enough retargeting. And a lot of, like I said, your best profits and majority of your sales will be in your retargeting. So
do you have how do I want to put this? So do you have like a formula as far as when you up your ad spend per? So say if you've duplicated the ad sets and you've weeded out the ones, and then I know you say maybe do some more, like once you find one, then you want to maybe duplicate those and up your ad spend. Is there something that you found successful of not going too high right away or too low right away, or is there like something that you can explain to them? Like, so say if you have something that you're running at 5 and then you've duplicated that, do you want to go up to 20? Do you want to go up to 100? Yeah,
I mean, there's two trains of thought on this, and I'm hearing recently that from someone that I respect, I guess. I mean, I know he knows Facebook well, but he's claiming that you can even, like, anything that's been running for like 48 hours and it's working, you can increase the budget by 20%. The actual budget of that ad set. I always thought and worked like where I never touch the budget. Once it's running, I never ever touch the budget. I duplicate that campaign or that ad set, and because it's going to be a new campaign, I'll, like, if it was running at 5, I'll run the budgets at 90 or something like that. And then he also, from what I understand, he was claiming that you could have higher budgets of like 150, 250, whatever. I always heard, and the way it works for me is I never ever have one ad set more than $100 budget. Like, I'll usually do, like, one thing that does work also that he was saying was that I tested that it does work is that the gold vein technique is basically going to happen regardless. If you have 10 $90 budgets, of those 10, 1 or 2 will work really well no matter what. But another way to also do it is the different budgets at 5, 10, 15, 25. I can't really say that whole increase your budget by 20% after 48 hours because I haven't even tested that, and I've always heard not to do that. And when I used to do that, maybe I was like when I first was on Facebook, and I'd have like, well, not first on Facebook, but around the time when, you know, Teespring got big, two plus years ago, and I was doing tees and I was having success. Every time I would want to scale, and I would just like, you know, I like to scale fast, but I was doing what I'd do is like it would be I wouldn't do it by 20%. I'd be like, all right, my $50 budget, I'd put it at 1,000, you know, so like, and then it would just go to crap. I'd be like, what the heck? What, you know, for whatever reason, it just kills your campaigns or ad sets when you increase your budgets. I guess more than 20% after 48 hours is what he's claiming. So I always was like, dude, you can't just increase your budgets. You have to duplicate it and set it at whatever budget. And I always stayed under 100, so I would just duplicate the ad set like 10 times. If I wanted to spend 1,000, I would duplicate the $100 budget 10 times and let those run, kind of thing. So you know, that's just something I recently learned, and I have to test it, that 20% increase every 48 hours if it's working. And then the more than 100 too. I've always stayed under 100 and just duplicated campaigns with much success, you know. So, you know, you're always learning stuff. You got to test it for yourself. But
definitely testing is key. We stress that a lot. And one last question here. This has been awesome, man. Just by the way, people are loving it. I know we got just about every question answered, and if we didn't, guys, just, you know, hit me up in the Facebook group, and you know, Eric's going to be with us. This is not his only time, so don't worry about that. As far as retargeting, do you so if you want to set up a retargeting ad, do you use just your retargeting pixel, and then just, of course, you would be using, like, your copy would be more towards retargeting? Is that the first step is just using your retargeting pixel?
All right, well, it's they used to have separate pixels. Now there's only one conversion pixel for everything, right? It's one pixel that you set up in Tools, and you go to Pixels, and in the beginning, back in the day, they used to have multiple pixels. So you had to have a retargeting pixel, and you had to have your regular pixel. Now there's only one pixel. So this main pixel right here, you put that on your store, and you're good to go. It's going to track everything. So once you have, as long as you have that pixel, that's going to track your purchases, your add to carts, your view content, all that stuff, right? So once you have that running, then you just create audience off that pixel, you know, and this, when you create these audiences, you know, then you can go back, like I said, at any time, then you would create what's going to be your retargeting audience. And on some, I just basically, I'll do a retargeting, and this is another thing of you know, that I figured out by testing. It's like, if you have a product that's good and people are happy and getting it on time and whatnot, like, I'll retarget like all my traffic to that page, because then I'll get those people that will put pictures of the product in the comments of the retargeting, and I'll just have my VAs like hide anybody that's like, oh, I ordered like 2 weeks ago and I still haven't got it, and you know, you just got to hide those comments. And not worry about them. But that's one thing. I mean, more than anything, you don't necessarily want to just target all the traffic. You want to target people that custom combination, event, added to cart, and didn't
Maybe
you add exclusion and you put the thank you page. So right. The people that actually made it to the thank you page, they purchased. So you wanted, you know, the ones that didn't.
Okay. Yeah, that helps.
That is going to be, you know, that is going to be specific by the page and product. And what you're going to want to do is get Pixel Helper. It's called. It's a Chrome add-on, and let me see. Yeah, this Facebook Pixel Helper. You add this to your Chrome, and on each page of whatever page of your website, you'll get the the pixel, the number for that specific product helps with when you're doing multiple products.
Cool. So I think that answers your question. All right, guys. Everyone's just saying thank you so much. This has been great. Kick-ass information. Loved it. Again, I'll let you know. I'll coordinate with Eric when the next time he can hop on. But again, guys, if anything you didn't get answered, just hit me up in the Facebook group or any of the Skype groups. Eric, thank you so much, man. Thank you for your time. We went this an hour over, but I don't think anybody cared. It was awesome, and looking forward to the next time you can hop on with us.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I had fun. Definitely a lot to take in, but hopefully I was able to get some of the general principles for you guys.
Definitely, man. All right, everyone. We'll talk soon. Thanks a lot. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Goodbye.